Hey guys, welcome to episode number 167. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the fish room and the state of the algae. As you can see, it hasn't really gotten any better. I have cut back the lights by 2 hours every day. I'm about to cut them back by another 2 hours. But the topic of this video is the Frogbit. So I went on Aquabid and found a guy who was selling a bunch of Frogbit. It was enough to cover a 10-gallon aquarium, and so I scooped that up and he shipped it over the weekend, and I just got it in. So it hasn't had a chance to combat the algae at all yet because I just put it in the tanks. But as you can see, there's a fair bit in each one of these tanks. I'd say it's maybe like a tenth of the surface area of each tank, maybe a little bit less. And I've tried to position as much of it directly underneath these lights as possible. There's a little bit of an area towards the edges here between these lights that isn't quite as illuminated. But the plants are going to do what they want to do, so we'll kind of see where the plants end up. But I'm fairly certain that the Frogbit will do very well. Some of it's kind of yellowed, which is kind of too bad. And there are some plants that are kind of beat up and probably won't make it. But I feel like for the most part this stuff is pretty resilient, and much like duckweed, it's just going to grow like a weed, grow like crazy, and that's a good thing for my aquariums because hopefully, since it does sit right on top of the water, it's going to outcompete the algae and hopefully spread across the entire surface area of all 4 of these tanks. And hopefully that will happen within the next few weeks to the next month or so. But I'm hoping to see a reduction in the amount of algae in the tanks within the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated on that progress. But I wanted to thank everyone who made suggestions on plants that I could purchase to help combat the algae problems. Ultimately, I went with the Frogbit as a starting place. We'll see what happens, but I feel like this stuff is big enough that it's not going to clog up these filter holes, the overflows. Just because it's spaced out enough that there's plenty of water that it can get in and around the leaves, and unlike something like a duckweed, it won't just clump up together and completely clog those strainers there. So I'm hoping that this stuff does really well and that it multiplies and grows and outcompetes everything in here. I'm not going to be putting any in the breeder boxes. I figure if it can outcompete the algae in the tanks, that'll be good enough. And hopefully the breeder boxes will clear up as well as that happens. But as you can see here, my large female marbled crayfish just molted. So she's got a shell in there that she's chowing down on. But yeah, I mean, you can't really see a whole lot in the tanks still, as you can see. I mean, there are fish in there for sure, but it's kind of hard to see them with all the algae. So hopefully the Frogbit will do a good job at taking care of that algae, and maybe at that point we'll actually be able to see the Java moss that's in the tanks and the fish themselves in the tanks and the driftwood and everything else, because then I'm going to start to selectively breed and pull the large females out and put them in the breeder boxes and let them have their fry in those breeder boxes, and try to really maximize my yield out of each one of these tanks, because right now it's just kind of like whatever they're doing is what they're doing. I did notice a few fry. I'm not sure if they were living or if they just didn't make it and they kind of floated over to the overflow, but a couple fry did end up on my filter pad. I'm assuming they came from this tank, and I might need to get a smaller grade mesh there. That might be a little too large, and they might be getting through and sucked down. But you know, I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see. I feel like letting them give birth in these brooder boxes is probably the first thing to do, and I'll just keep monitoring it to make sure that I'm not losing more fry down there. But you can see those guys there in the water. There's a bunch of them in there, and I know that each one of these tanks is already producing fry, which is a great thing. And you know, hopefully I'll be able to start selling those and offering those soon once these tanks start to fill out and clean up a little bit. But you know, hopefully this Frogbit does good enough that I'll be able to sell some of that off too. Again, not really impressed by the quality here, but I got it for cheap, so I'm not really going to complain. I got a lot of it for the price I paid, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, I mean, some of this stuff will die off, a lot of it will grow back, and you know, if these lights are strong enough to produce this much algae, I'm sure they'll be able to allow this Frogbit to reproduce at a rapid rate. So anyways guys, that's what's going on here in the fish room. Just a quick update with the Frogbit and the algae situation. Hopefully that'll be cleared up soon. If you have any other recommendations on plants or how to, you know, allow this Frogbit the best chance of survival, let me know. I'm thinking that it's just going to kind of float to whatever corner it wants to, and hopefully it won't clog up these drains. I mean, looking at that right there, I don't think it's going to affect the water level at all in the tank. But if a lot of these leaves start to die off and brown, I could see that getting sucked up against the side there. So I'll just have to monitor it and make sure that, you know, the water's flowing unrestricted. But anyways guys, that's all I've got for today. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.